And welcome, guys. It's Jeff from Home Renovation DIY here to talk business. We're talking turkey tonight. That's right. Today's video, we're separating some time to talk to all of the people out there in our community, because let's face it, the community is huge. We got DIYers, we got young people looking to get in the trades, we got existing businesses. Today, if you own a home-based business, or you're in business, you're in the trades, or you're thinking of starting one, this is the show for you. We're going to share kind of like the secrets to success that I learned the hard way. Like 25 years in the trades, I learned all this the hard way. And what I want you to know is you don't have to learn things the hard way, okay? You don't have to pay for a mentorship program. I'm just here to help. I'm going to give you a bunch of great information today, a bunch of things that I've learned in the trades, secrets to success, things that I saw that caused failure, things that hurt me financially, right? We're going to open up the books. Let's talk real turkey. What's it like to be in business, dealing with people and things at the same time? Especially as a small business owner, you got so many hats, it's unrealistic. You got to be good in the trades, you got to be good in business, you got to be good socially, you got to be good manager, you got to be good with human resources. There's a lot going on. So today's show is going to be all about dedicated to helping the small business guy think and act and operate like a large business, okay? So that you can present yourselves as being very professional, and as such, be able to demand professional type compensation for your work. Okay, there's lots of people out there who know how to put on a good show and charge big money, and at the end of the day, they don't really deliver the goods. Right? They come in lackluster. You don't want to be that guy. So let's take a look at the chat here. We got some folks here, lots of familiar faces. That's fantastic. Hello to everybody. I'm going to just go through my list here. I got 7 things I want to share. All right. And when I'm done, we're going to take some questions. We're going to dive in a little bit. If you've got specific situations or you got a question about your business model, or feel free. Let's bounce it off. Let's just be brothers and sisters around the campfire tonight. Let's just talk some stuff and see if we can help each other out. Okay. Now, number one of my major rules is don't live on autopilot. Okay, you can have a real tendency in business to live on autopilot. You get up in the morning, you do the same thing every single day, right? And what you're missing out in that is autopilot means you're expecting everybody else around you to know what your day looks like, and you're not managing anybody's expectations. That's the key. Every time you're about to sign a new contract, it's your job to manage their expectation. We got YouTube, we got HGTV, we've got years and years and years of whatever influences they have that have already predetermined what it looks like to hire a contractor. You can't allow their experience to determine how they see you. Now, managing expectations starts from the very first phone call, from your website, from your very first conversation. But before you sign that contract, you got to say, listen, this is how I work. Okay? I need this, lay it all out. What's your operation? Everybody's different. I'm not telling you how to run your business. I'm telling you, you need to manage that expectation. If you say, hey, I'm going to have someone there every day, make sure someone's there every day. Okay? Or what you do is you create a crisis. If you say we're there for 8 o'clock, be there for 8 o'clock. All right? Or you create a crisis. And customers are programmed to be somewhat neurotic. Can I just say that? Like they're expecting the sky to fall. So don't give them a reason to believe the sky's going to fall. Manage their expectations, manage your crew, and make sure that you know what they are expecting from you and that you deliver it. That's all I'm saying, okay? Not managing their expectations means that you're going to fail. You could be an amazing contractor, give great service, show up every day, and you can still fail in their eyes because they thought you should have been there early. They thought you were going to stay there late. They thought you're going to be done faster. Whatever. You've got to manage that expectation. Key number 1. Number 2. One of my biggest rules in life, okay? If you're not early, you're late. Nobody likes this. The whole world's late. My kingdom for anybody on the planet who joins a scheduled Zoom call at the appropriate time. What the hell is with this whole world? You can't even be on time. 60 seconds late, everybody. Every time, always. No. In trades, if you're not early, you're late. And I'll tell you why. Because I've had this experience 1,000 times. They got a busy house. They hired you to come and work in your house. You're supposed to be there for 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock, whatever you've established as the expectation. And when they look out the window in the driveway, they don't see your car and it's 10 to 7. If you said you're there at 7 and you're not there at 10 to 7, they start panicking. So they start thinking, oh God, okay, okay, kids are getting on the bus. I got to get out of here. I got to go to work. He's not here. I want to have a conversation. I got a question. I can't ask it. Panic mode, right? Don't put them in panic mode. Be there 15 minutes early. Schedule part of your morning to be in the driveway, doing your books, making phone calls, catching up on all your organization, right? Contacting whatever, or just pretending to do so, cleaning out your own head and prepping yourself for the day, but be there early, okay? I can't stress to you how important that is. Being there early on the job every day of your life, that lousy 15 minutes, the difference between hitting snooze and getting your butt out of bed, that 15 minutes creates peace of mind with your customer. And their peace of mind is just, they got this much space left. They're ready to snap at any minute. Most people today, if they got husband and wife working, they got kids, they got extracurricular, they got property, they got aging parents, they're strung out, right? They're right on the edge of snapping. Be there early. Don't be a cause for concern. You don't want to be the last crisis. It's the last straw that breaks that camel's back, right? That's not cool. Now, we're talking about communication. If you're not there early or late, really it comes down to this. I manage your expectations. I say I'm going to be there at 7. Let's say you're going to be late. Call them. That's all. Communicate, right? Be a good communicator. Great communication is the key to success in business. If you manage the expectation and then you communicate well, then they know what to expect and then they can adapt to the changes because you've communicated. You don't want to show up and say, hey, sorry, I'm an hour late. I wanted to swing by Home Depot and get all the material we talked about yesterday. And, well, you're not important enough for me to make that phone call, but you're sending them as a signal that they don't count and their feelings don't count and their life plans don't count. If you want respect on the job site and you want to get that last check at the end of the job, then you show up and you communicate and you manage expectations and everybody will be symbiotic and kumbaya, okay? Number 3. 30 years, 25 years, whatever it is, my God, like you learn a lot. Most of it's the hard way. Nobody's sharing back when I was young. Here's the key. Manage by walking around. Inevitably, sooner or later, you're going to have an extra success. You're going to have 1 or 2 employees. Don't look at that as an opportunity to take a day off the site, ever. You can never say, they got it. I'm going to run errands. I'm going to do books. I'm going to go get a massage. I'm going out for dinner. Don't ever get lazy. You got to be on that site or you've lost control of that site, okay? Consider your site, your construction site, like a daycare. You've got to be there supervising. You can't just shove 37-year-olds in a room and say, see you at 7 o'clock in the afternoon. No. You've got to be there. So you either hire someone to take that responsibility on or you're that guy. You got to be there. I always look at it this way. At the end of the day, my favorite thing to do was to sweep up. I'd send everybody else home and I would sweep up. And what I would do is visually, I would scan the room. I'd see materials. I'd see my tools. I'd organize myself. I'd think about my next day. I'd go, you know what? I need one of these. I need something this. I would clean up. I'd be the last guy to leave. And inevitably, I would bump into the homeowners. They're coming back from work, okay, which is a key. And then that would be amazing, right? Managing by walking around is all about organization. And organization is organizing your time, organizing your paperwork, organizing your job site. And can I just say that if you're in small business today, I wish I had the kind of tools you guys have access to nowadays. A couple months back, we did a live show when we were talking about going into business. And one of the number one questions was, hey, Jeff, is there an app out there that I can use? And I was like, I didn't really know. I hadn't really done the research because I'm out of the trades now, right? So I took a look around and we found this Jobber app, okay? And the Jobber folks are amazing. They've got my day, we had customer relations management. We had software, we had their name, number, and we could organize things a little bit, but nothing like today. Nowadays, the software is amazing. You can handle your communication. You can handle organizing your appointments, your quotes, your invoices, right? Your payment structure, all of your email communication. changes to the work order, right? The days you're going to be on site or not, all your schedule, accounting, invoicing, unbelievable software. I spent about an hour going through the whole program. I couldn't believe how easy it was for a home-based business nowadays to integrate all of those professional levels of operation without having to hire people to fill those gaps. It's a game changer, all right? So consider it. You can always check the link in the video description. You can check out a 14-day free trial. We've set that up with Jobber. They're amazing. I think it's worth taking a look if you're in the business, all right? Now, next thing, number 4, rule number 4, have indoor shoes. I know, it seems so really ridiculous, right? Well, Jeff, I'm down here in Florida, and right, there's really only one season. It's hot. But if you have indoor shoes, what you're saying is, when I come to work, I change my footwear. I put on shoes that are dedicated for your house only, okay? They've not been out walking around. They don't have stones in them, okay? And they're designed to be worn inside your house where you're keeping it clean and tidy and livable space. It's already enough chaos in that home when you're in there working. Having a dedicated pair of shoes for that house makes a world of difference to the mindset of a customer because they see the level of respect off the charts, okay? Plus, it helps to guarantee that as you're going throughout your day, that mindset of this is somebody's home, it stays prevalent in you and your staff. Site management, managing garbage, managing your staging area, all these things are very important. You need to know what's yours and what's theirs. And can I say, as a side note, especially the bathrooms, part of your expectation management should be, what toilet does my crew use, okay? Don't be afraid to hang a sign, right? Staple it to your crew's head if you have to. But there's nothing worse than somebody going into their master ensuite to go to take a shower or use the bathroom and find the toilet seat up because someone on your crew was using it and they've trained their husband never to leave the seat up. And they know somebody in my crew was in my toilet. That will set them off, okay? That is not a fight you want to get into. You will never win that fight. It'll cost you $1,000 at the end of the job. I'm telling you right now. Next, build bridges, okay? Don't burn them. In the trades, we have multiple different skills, multiple different disciplines, and everybody has different relationships in different areas. And in my experience in the last 30 years, the best contracts I ever got were by referral from other tradesmen who respected my work and my work ethic, okay? Because they had a cousin who got a contract, and I could get paid $5,000 for 1 day's worth of paint work because they got a government contract or something, like a license at a casino or something, and it was after hours. It doesn't matter. $5,000 for 1 day? Those jobs never came my way unless I had good relationships. And then when you get a job and you need an electrician, it's like, well, I don't know an electrician. Well, you're not in business. You need to have relationships. You need to be able to say, I've got an electrician, I got a plumber, I got a backup electrician and plumber, I got a structural engineer, I got all these people in my world that I can call on. And because I do good business, even if it hurts you sometimes, integrity, right? Do what's right even if it hurts. Sometimes they'll send you a bill and you'll be like, I just don't think that's quite right. Consider this, fighting over $100 versus having that relationship. Okay? It's something you really want to think about because I've never been burned more than a few $100s by a contractor in an entire year by bad management of their accounting process. But everybody that I've ever had in my contracting relationships always returned thousands and thousands of dollars in business. Just saying. Okay? It's kind of like a relationship, right? You don't hold the feet to the fire of everybody that you have a personal relationship with every time they make a tiny little mistake and say, well, I'm going to get you for that one. No, that's not good relationship skills, right? Have that with your contractor friends, okay? Nobody's perfect. We all got different personalities. We all do things different. And generally speaking, on a job site, a contractor, like a carpenter and an electrician, they don't have a meeting to discuss their management expectations. What's the day look like? Have those. Hey, I'm planning on working upstairs today, then I'm going to go to the basement. How about you? How can we organize our days so we're not in each other's way so we can both be effective and productive? The law actually demands that we learn how to get along. So take the time to have a meeting. Is it too much to ask that we all get along, right? And maybe, just maybe, one day, drywallers will stop filling the electrical boxes full of mud if we would have a conversation first. Anyway, hit the comment section up. If you're in the trades, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You want to share a story, all right? Okay, number 6, and there's only 2 more. Number 6 is listen to your gut. I know. Let's be honest. How many times have you been in a meeting, and you're about to sign a contract, and this thing is just going, don't do it. Get out of here, right? It kind of reminds me of that Eagle song, you know, like, oh, you can check it anytime you like it, but you can never leave. Some contracts are just destined to be hellish. And for whatever reason, our gut knows it, but our brains are clouded by the numbers of the contract. If you get a check, if you think, man, this ain't working out, I'm not happy, I'm not going to enjoy this contract, these are not the kind of people I want to work for, they don't respect me, whatever's going on, run, don't walk. Every time I took a contract where I ignored my gut, I got burned. And every time I left because I listened to my gut, something better came along. Okay? So do that. Hotel California, you damn right. Some things you learn through music. All right. Number 7 is my most important advice. All right? Things that I learned from all those years in contracting. Being in business for yourself is not a full-time job. It's 2. If you're in business and you're not working 80 hours a week, you're not in business. You're in pseudo business. You're somewhere in between. Okay? It takes a lot of time and energy to run a business. You have to be on site. You got to do your accounting. You got to do your books. You got to do your marketing. You got to take care of customers. You got to take care of warranty issues. You've got to take care of planning for the future. You got to take care of training yourself and learning new things all the time, right? Don't get bored with what you're doing. Always be learning. There's new technologies. There's new products. Take courses. Get better, 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 right? At the end of the day, you've got to find your passion. Why in the hell did you decide to go work 70, 80, 90, 100 hours a week? For me, it was simple. I'd get up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'd walk down the hall past all 4 of my kids, and I would be like, the hell you're going to live this life. And that's what turned me on. I got into contracting because it was the only way that I could make enough of a living that I could guarantee that they didn't have to bust their ass the same as I did. That's it. That was my motivation. My kids. Today, it's still my kids. I'm all about my kids. I'm all about my grandkids. I'm trying to secure and guarantee a better future for them than the one I had to live through. Thank God for my most amazing wife who helped me get there. And together, we found a way to get our heads above water and enjoy where we are today. But my God, the last 30 years have been an absolute battle. If you don't have a passion in business, you're going to get eaten alive. So consider that. Find out your why. And if you don't have one, adopt new responsibility and get one. Okay? Passion is the only thing that'll get you through an 80-hour work week for 25 years straight. Nothing else will do it. All right? All right, let's jump into some questions. Let's say hi to what's going on in the crew. Listen, and if you got questions about business and you need help, or you're just learning and you're looking, maybe, I hate to call myself a mentor, but if you want to get some more information, consider joining our membership program. Feel free, jump in there, ask me questions. Share me contract issues that you're having with your clients, okay? There's 2 sides to every story. And inevitably, whenever there's a problem with the contract, it's because management of expectations was never met right out of the very gate. All right? Oh, anyway, let's jump into the comments here. We'll see where we are. Matthew is helping me out tonight. Tonight we're doing a live show. My son Matthew is running the live show remotely. And I got a TV here. He's going to throw questions up on the screen, and I'm going to answer them. I'm going to try to stay in the chat a little bit if I can. John Kennedy has got a question here. Is my passion construction or YouTube? Well, let me put it to you this way. John, that's a great question. I guess I'll open myself up for that. I'm going to be honest with you. I never really enjoyed construction. I enjoyed some aspects of it. I enjoyed sweeping. I love painting. I love the drywall. I hated interacting with the customers because I grew up in a generation where I was disrespected right out of the gate. Right? I was treated like scum because I was told that if you didn't go to university, that you were the scum of the earth. That was the generational curse that I grew up with. Everybody in my generation was told the same thing. And I was 5 to 7 years behind the baby boomers, and they had all the contracts and all the relationships locked down. So I was always fighting from the bottom up. And so it was hell. I really enjoy working with my hands. I enjoy building things, but I do not enjoy the customer relation aspect of it. YouTube allows me to be able to be creative and build without the customer. I don't have customers. I just buy a place and I fix it all up and I share everything I've learned all my life with you guys and I help you out. And so I get to make a living helping you. And for me, that is a win-win because I got no more customers. I still get to be creative and I love working. I just don't have to listen to anybody say, well, that isn't just exactly perfect. And I'm just like, oh. Anyway, next. Idris. Hey, Jeff, a few weeks ago, I built a shed and I put drywall on the inside. Is that okay? Yeah, here's the thing. Sheds, for the most part, are not a, how shall we say, conditioned space. So unless you've got the ability to control the humidity in that shed, you're going to find that at some point in the year, you're going to have a wetter season than other times of the year, no matter what climate you're in. And during that wet season, your drywall will go to mold. I would suggest you rip it out. If you want to have something to close up your walls, then go to plywood or some other kind of a wood product. And if you're insulating it and you're not providing a heat source, definitely stay with the wood. Mold is not a thing you want to deal with, and drywall is always going to go to mold if you don't have the ability to dry the air. Devin, I have been building a shed into a tiny home. Oh no, 16 by 32, that's a heck of a shed. Lofted while trying to build a tight home. I'm worried about fresh air venting with most of the building. Yeah, wanting a mini split. Well, that's really got nothing to do with running a business, but that's fine. Listen, if you're building a shed into a tiny home, 16 by 32, you've got a brand new world going on there. Because sheds are not designed to be insulated and air conditioned and heated. It's not a conditioned space, okay? So you've got to do more than just insulate it and close up the walls and put in a heater. You've got to have fresh air, right? You've got to have ventilation for the roof to make sure that everything's staying dry. Whenever you're building something, you always want to have basically 3 things in mind. 1, structure. 2, the thermal aspect, right? And 3, how is an excess of moisture or water in one area of the building or another going to leave the building? And when is it going to leave the building? Because if you have too much moisture due to humidity in a shed, and you've got a drywall product, for instance, that drywall is going to soak up all that moisture, and it's going to feed the mold in the studs, and then you're going to have moldy drywall. So you've really got to consider your structural dynamic, your thermal dynamic, and then your moisture dynamic. And you got to create a whole building science system to make that work. Sheds are not designed to be livable structures. So the shed, okay, Idris again, his shed has air control and watertight seal. Would I still need to take it out? Air control, I'm not sure what that means. That's a fancy word, but how about this? Do you have the ability to maintain a certain level of humidity in the shed? That's the question, okay? Because you got thermal, you got structure. It's a humidity control issue, okay? So if you have some sort of a humidistat that engages the ability to dry the air out, then you should be okay, all right? Maintain that at below the level where mold grows, and you're gonna be great. All right, next up. Is it worth it to buy a house from 1920s with no central air or no air at all? Could you have it installed into the home? Here's the thing, when you're buying a 1920s home, is it worth it? That's a hell of a question. Are you prepared to tear apart all the interior walls, all the lath and plaster? Are you prepared to run a new HVAC system? Because that's really what you need to do. If you want to make it modern, make it modern. Gut it, rebuild all your mechanical structure. Are you paying for it as a gut with a need for mechanical structure? Is it in a region? Is it in the country? Probably not worth it. Is it in the middle of a city that's got good return on investment, like good comparable values? Then that's a great investment. See, old homes inside a city are great return on investment for DIYers. So yes, out in the country, not as great. So consider, come up with a plan. What's your renovation plan? Talk to your realtor, say, what's it worth when it's finished? Then you can go back and say, what's it going to cost me to get there? And then you can decide if it's worth the time and effort. My farmhouse took me and my son 2 years to do a complete remodel on it. It's on the channel. We made $400,000. We kind of split that up. So yes, it was worth it because it was after tax dollars. Consider that as a principal residence. And it all depends, right? There's a few other factors there that determine whether or not it's a good idea. And if you're just joining us, a little later in the show, we're going to take some phone calls. I'm only taking phone calls from people who are in business and have questions about their contracting business. And I don't care if you just work Saturdays or you start doing a side gig. If you're in that business, then you can call me. We'll give the number a little later, but let's just jump back into the questions here. Yeah, we'll do about 10 minutes. That's a good idea. Hi, Jeff. I recently did a paint job for a side job over a couple weekends. I charged my regular wage, $30 an hour. Was that too low? Yes, Donaldo. If you're working on the side, whatever wage you're used to getting, you need to charge double. For everybody out there, if you have a job and you're working overtime for your boss and getting time and a half, you're getting ripped off because you're getting time and a half plus extra income tax. If you start your own business, you can charge double and then write off all of your business expenses. You're making 3 to 4 times as much money on Saturdays doing it on your own. Remember, if you have a job and you're getting 30, he's charging you out at 60. You're worth 60. So consider that. Don't undersell yourself, okay? All right. Let me tell you right now, there are millions of people in North America who would never pick up a paintbrush and a roller for anything less than $100 an hour. So don't be afraid to charge 60, okay? All right, cheers. Next question. Jeff, talk about the recent higher interest rates. May it affect the job economy for us handymen contractors? Not at all. Listen to what I'm going to say here right now. Higher interest rates and higher house values, all they do is make rich people more money. Okay? Rich people make money with higher interest rates. So if you're a handyman, market yourself to rich people. They're always going to do just fine. Don't worry about that. Where handymen struggle is if they're marketing themselves to other working class homeowners. That's where the struggle is. And if you've marketed yourself there and that's where all your referrals are coming from, you could be seeing some struggle right now. Consider marketing yourself to a higher revenue income kind of neighborhood because rich people do not suffer while there's inflation. They make even more money. So it's not a problem about is there money available, are there customers available? It's who are your customers? Feel free to change your customer base up a little bit if it's necessary to get through this time. All right, cheers. Sam has a question. Hi, Jeff. I'm growing my handyman business. Is it worth putting a slogan/info on the back of my t-shirt design? You know, Sam, I'll tell you right now, in my experience, anything you can do to get your name out there is a good thing. Okay. One of my favorite clients ever came from this experience. I drove to Home Depot. I had a magnetic sign on my truck. They wanted to get a contractor, so they drove to Home Depot and drove up and down the parking lot and took down the name and number of all the contracting trucks that were in the parking lot that were in decent shape. And they called me. $20, $30 magnet sign. If you can pick up a job by having a sign on the back of your t-shirt, trust me, it was worth the $3 it cost to put it there. That's all I'm saying. The more marketing you got, the better. Sometimes old-fashioned is a lot better than new-fashioned, right? You can spend a lot of money on social media trying to get your message out to all the wrong people. Or you can get a lawn sign, stick it at the front gate of an HOA where everybody in the other side of the neighborhood is sitting on 10 million plus in personal assets, and that's the kind of client you want. Just saying. Cheers. Darb says he works full-time as a pipe fitter. Any advice for weekend jobs that I can make a side hustle? I'm hoping to have a very small odd job business on my time off. Cheers. You know what? As a pipe fitter, you have a gas license, right? One of the coolest things about the gas license is you can set up people to take their gas out to the outside of the house to set up their barbecue on their natural gas. Set up an outdoor fire pit, all right? And you can market yourself like that. You can do small little pipe fitting jobs. You can do something like, hey, are you looking to get a mixed fuel stove? I can do the pipe fitting and bring it over from the gas line outside the house and right through the wall into the kitchen to your new mixed fuel stove location. And you can take a look at your experience and go, here's 1, 2, 3 jobs, market those 3 jobs, and only take those jobs, right? And they're so simple, and majority of the work is outside the house where it's easy to do. You don't have to deal with the pets and the kids and the grandparents and all the other, you know what I'm saying. So yes, it's definitely a side gig. The thing is, the more niche your side gig, the greater region you might have to advertise in, but it's worth doing, right? Everybody's looking for somebody sometime. All right, cheers. And cheers, Brian, new membership. Cheers, man, appreciate it. You got a question, make sure you ask it. Nebdog, as a sole proprietorship handyman business, is it worth setting up credit accounts at suppliers or stick to cash? Okay, so the whole credit account thing, it's a little sensitive for me, to be honest with you. A lot of people, they set up their credit account, but they don't have the money to be able to pay the credit account when it comes due. And you'll get yourself in more hot water. If you're in a position where you're like, listen, a credit account or a cash account, is there any financial benefit to a credit account over a cash account? Only the fact that you get a 30-day stay on making the payment. Okay? Do you need that client's money to pay that bill? If so, stay with a cash account. Okay? And make the client pay you money up front for your materials. If you're in that gray area where you just don't have that kind of capital equity, make the client give you a deposit for materials, okay? And if they won't do it, they're not a client. Don't get yourself in the credit trap. Listen, the only thing you got in life that can get you up, out, and over is good credit. Once you have good credit and you can get your first house or your second house, and you've got a little bit of momentum with your business, then getting credit accounts is great because it's just an extra 30 days of free money, and it just makes life a little simpler to organize, okay? And you don't have to make one payment a month on things. It's nice. But when you're starting out, if you're a little tight and if the client don't pay, you're screwed, make the client pay up front, all right? That's just the best advice I can give you. Zachary says, as a homeowner, I always try to support those doing side jobs. I want to incentivize that relationship. I always hear, you provide beer. Is there more you can do? Tip over their hourly rate. Okay, so here's the deal, Zachary. When somebody comes to you and they're doing a side job, and they say, "This is what I'm going to charge you," just pay the bill. Okay. The best thing you can do as a homeowner to incentivize and nurture a good relationship is just to be accommodating. Give them access to the bathroom. Have cold drinks on a hot day. It's not that bad, right? It's really not a big issue. It's not hard because as a contractor, we've already said, hey, I'm willing to do all of this for X amount of money. And at the end of the day, if you just pay the bill and you give me a free Gatorade, that's a great day in a contractor's eye. You don't have to go over and above. We're not waiters. We're not looking for a 20% tip. It's not necessary, all right? Oh my God, because you're managing expectations. The next time you call them, they want that 20% tip again too. And the rates are gonna go up too, you watch. All right. Kayla's, hey Jeff, what precautions should I take if I know the contract is not going to be a smooth one because the tenant is very difficult, but you still have to do it for the relationship with the client? First of all, you're talking about a 3-tier situation here, okay? You have a client who has a tenant and they're sending you into the tenant's house to do the work, okay? Understand that you do not have a business relationship with the tenant. If they're in your way, you call up the client and you say, yo, clients in my way, the tenants in my way, you're either going to come down here and remove the tenant out of my scenario, or I'm billing you for the full day, and I'll come back another time once you've organized this. But I can't do my job while they're in my face, and I'm not dealing with it. It's not your problem, okay? I don't care how caring they are. It's not your problem. You didn't sign a contract with them. All right? And if you don't like that kind of scenario, change the market you're working for. There's millions of people looking for subcontractors right now. All you've got to do is stick a sign in a grassy knoll somewhere, and someone will call you. Trust me. When I first started out, I started getting referral calls all the time. I was amazed how many referral calls I got until I realized I was just too cheap. And there's a whole community of people that were friends that were taking advantage of me, and I didn't realize what was going on. And then one day I was talking to another contractor, and he was telling me what his rates are, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. I'm really getting ripped off. And so it took about 3 years, all this community would keep on calling me, and I'd be like, sorry, I've changed my rates. Oh, I'm not interested. Then hang up. So if you don't like where you're working, change it. You know, it's it's not that difficult. Just do it. Jeff, best advice on starting lawn business, power washing, and doing sprinklers. My best advice is those are 3 different businesses. Pick one. Why in the world would you want to drive around prepared to do 3 different jobs? Seriously, I think in today's economic environment, there's such a serious lack of competition. Ask me 10 years ago, I'd been like, good idea, good to be diversified. But nowadays, it's better to be focused, okay? Have a smaller trailer, have one job, do it consistently. And if you want to start a second business and hire people to do that business. I'm just saying, the less equipment, the less maintenance, the less materials, the less organization, the simpler. Pick the one that makes you the most money and run with that. Okay, Kay. Hi, Jeff, at 25, just bought a house. Good for you. Is it worth investing in tools, or should I just rent for now? You know, Kay, I did a video not too long ago, and I was the 5 tools that you really need to own as a homeowner. One is a compressor. One is a drill. One is a reciprocator. What else do we have in there? One is a grinder. I have to remember in my own video. That's pretty bad. But if you have just a basic set of tools, like I'm over here doing this double wide trailer renovation. Behind me is the kitchen. We painted the cabinets. We got new doors and everything. I bought a skill saw, a drill, a reciprocator, and a grinder. I brought my compressor from Canada on the trip because I like to be able to inflate my flat tires in case. Other than that, I basically bought almost nothing. You don't need a lot of tools as a homeowner to start fixing up your house, okay? If you need a big tool, then rent it, yes. But for the most part, less than $500, you can have almost everything you need for almost every scenario, okay? So don't be afraid to make a little investment in yourself so that you can get started. Cheers. All right, let's deal with Cody. And we talked about taking phone calls after 10 minutes, didn't we? We're just gonna go, the comments are good? All right, Cody Emerson, how do I go about getting licensed as a remodeling contractor without having 4 years of valid experience? Cody, that is a great question. I actually spent some time looking into all this stuff, okay? Because I'm down here in Florida, the rules are different. And I found out in the United States, you guys got different rules in every state. So every state has rules about getting licensed as a remodeling contractor. You got to have a certain number of years of experience, blah, 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 blah. In most cases, your state will let you serve up a bond. And basically what all of these rules are doing is one thing. They're protecting the consumer from the fly-by-night contractor who doesn't have any money and can't be sued, okay? So if you're thinking about going into business, contact the local authorities and say, hey, I don't have 4 years experience. I want to get started. What do I need to do? And they're basically going to say, you're going to have to put up a bond, young man. Give us $10,000 that we can hold as an equity in case somebody has an action against you, that we can protect them from you. That's it, okay? Now, potentially coming up with a cash bond is a big issue, but don't be afraid, Cody. If you don't have 4 years of experience, go get it. You have all the time in the world to be really good at what you do, okay? As a business owner, you got so many things you've got to learn. I would suggest don't be in a hurry to make your millions. Be in a hurry to learn as much as you can from 1, 2, 3, or 4 different contractors. Do a year with somebody, do a year with somebody, do a year with somebody. Find different specialties, okay? Get as much broad experience as you can before you get into business. You don't have to be in a hurry to get rich. What you have to do is be in a hurry not to screw it all up. Because if you go into business too early and you make mistakes and you end up going to court and you end up having to pay big penalties, it's going to take you 10 years to correct your ship and get back on track. Better to spend 4 to 6 years learning from other people who have figured out how to make money before you try to do it on your own. It's not a race. Don't be in a hurry. I'm not talking about waiting 20 years. I'm talking 4 to 6 years of good, steady income and experience and learning and paying attention on the job site. All right, Cody, you got this, buddy. Next question from David. I took the word handyman out of my advertisement. Is that a mistake when you're trying to reach a more wealthy or class of people? The word handyman is a legal definition. It basically says I'm available to do contracts up to a certain level of revenue, and that's it. When you remove it, you're now advertising yourself as a contractor, as a licensed contractor. So you're going to get a lot of calls from people who want you to do work that goes above and beyond the purview of handyman in your state. Now, depending where you live, if you're in Alabama, who cares, right? Because they got a massive room there for you to do work. But if you're in a lot of states, it's $250 or $500 a day or per project. And you can hire a project in the morning and you can hire a project in the afternoon. They're separate issues. You get invoiced twice. I'm just saying, handyman really relates to the fact that it really is saying you got me for a half day or a day. And there's nothing wrong with the word handyman. Like, think about it. Would you rather be a handyman or a not handyman, right? It's not a negative connotation in my book, but what it does do is it sets expectations for clients who are reaching out to you that there can be a monetary limit, okay? And I think that's important because you don't want to be spending all your time answering calls and emails and going to meetings for people who want to hire you for a project that you're not licensed to do. All right? Any thoughts on licensing and insurance? Yeah, get some. Listen, there's a lot of different rules out there. Check your local state office, okay, your local building office, and find out what the rules are for where you live, okay? Because they change state to state to state. Getting licensed or registering your business with the state as a handyman, there's nothing wrong with that. Be above board, okay? Get business insurance as far as like commercial liability. It's not expensive, all right? Don't be afraid. If you're in somebody's home and you're working and you're not insured, what you are is you're a piñata waiting for someone to beat you with a stick. That's all I can say about that. All right. I have a client that I'm doing a tile project for. They have only been available 1 or 2 days per week on the weekend, and they're starting to get upset because it's taking a while to finish. Advice. This is the classic example of not managing expectations. When I'm in business, my first rule is I have access to that house Monday to Saturday from 8 to 5. I don't care if you're in town, out of country, or dead. I'm finishing that job on my schedule. I put a lockbox on the door. When you go to sell your house, a real estate agent puts a lockbox on the door. Okay? This is not a new concept. So if you're waiting to go to work because a client's availability to babysit you is not convenient, what you've got there is a client that does not respect you, doesn't respect your time, and you haven't managed their expectation to say, hey, I don't work like that. I have a job. And if I'm taking this client, I'm in your home whether you're there or not. If you don't like it, find somebody else, because I can find a client a lot easier than you can. You just don't put up with that junk. Homeowners, you don't get to tell people when they go to work. Oh my God. Next, Daniel. My contractor's license has been active for 40 years. I'm 63 now. What do you think of me entering the business now? That's a hell of a question. I wouldn't even know, Daniel. All I know is this. If you're still capable and able and you got a passion to do it, get back in it, because the world is sorely needing people who want to work. Okay? Contact your local office and say, hey, can I reinstate my license? And there may be one or two conditions that you have to, agree with, but find out. Like, maybe you don't have to take the test again. Maybe you just got to register again. I don't know. Man, you got me stumped there, buddy. But if you want to work, go get it. And you know what? Consider not getting a license. Consider just being a handyman. Reduce it. Work half days and avoid all that licensing altogether if it's too much of a hassle. Okay? Because you can still make $500 or $1,000 a day as a handyman. Not a problem. And not have to have a license. All right? Kay says, one more. Which of the trades is best to get into right now? Kay, seriously, if you're looking to get into a trade, I'm going to make two suggestions. One is become an electrician, because generally speaking, the work that you perform as an electrician is not such that it is so physically demanding, you're going to find it too challenging. Okay? It's technical, it's science, it's hand tools, and for the most part, just about any person on the planet is suitable to do that job. Second, and it makes good money. And as a licensed electrician, you can start your own business and write your own check. The other one is plumber. All right, Neil Armstrong said it best. Going to the moon wasn't important. Plumbing is important. Let's just face it. If all the electricians and plumbers were to wake up tomorrow and leave Chicago, that city would come to a grinding halt in less than 7 days. It would be the end of it. They wouldn't exist. Do you understand the power that tradespeople have on this planet and the respect that they deserve that they don't get? If you're not liking where you're working and you're not being appreciated, move. There are lots of places in the country that would love to have you join them. But if you're looking to get into the trades, electricians and plumbers. All right. The International Building Code is moving more and more and more towards having them be licensed trades only in your home, even if you're a homeowner. Okay, there is a push towards that. So it's a great long-term security thing that you're not going to get robots taking your job, like almost every other job in the world. Anyway, Nick says, hey, Jeff, fellow Ottawa local here. Cheers. Anything I should be aware of or watch for if I'm trying to start a deck building repair upgrade business in a northern climate? Anything you need to be aware of or watch for? Well, exterior work means you're weather sensitive, okay? So one of the things you want to do is realize that if you miss a day's work, you miss 2 days' work, because half the year you can't work, right? So consider this. How much money do you make in a day building a deck? And what does it cost if you were to buy a drill and work in the rain and it dies after 2 days? And how much does it cost for a pop-up 10 by 10 temporary tent that you can move around the job site, so even if it's raining, you're out there building in the rain? Be uncomfortable, work in the rain, work in the elements, don't care what the weather is, get yourself an outdoor shelter, about 100, 120 bucks, 10 by 10, pop-up, okay? And you can work every single day. Don't use weather as an excuse to take a day off if you can't afford it. It's too bloody expensive. That's my best advice. Amy wants to know, how do I figure out how much to spend for remodeling a home? There's $1 million question, Amy. Best advice I got is this. Find out what a home in your neighborhood is worth remodeled by going on Zillow. Go to like one of the, or Redfin or whatever. I don't have one in my pocket, but go search. Hey, I got a 3-bed, 2-bath in my neighborhood, so many square feet. And look for new houses that are all remodeled. What are they selling for? That's what it's worth. That's how much you should spend. And if you're hiring, okay, try to get as close, but you're only going to get 80 cents on the dollar return investment on a renovation. So consider doing some of it yourself. Do the DIY thing. Because whenever you remodel, you're spending more money than what you're getting back. Okay? The only thing is you've adjusted your curve on your growth. So over time, remodeling makes sense. Immediately, it's a loss. Does that help? Because if you're going to get a 5% growth every year On a remodeled house, in 20 years from now, you're much better off than if you don't. But if you remodel a house and sell it in the same year, you're losing money. I don't know. That's a pretty short answer for something that could be a 1-hour conversation. All right, Wally, any thoughts or advice on operating as an owner-builder, GC in Milton, Ontario, Canada? Yeah, I got some great advice for you, Wally. Regional, okay? Stay regional. Be the guy that doesn't drive an hour to work. Take a look at where you live and say, within 30 minutes is my customer base, okay? Try your damnedest to stay in that zone. And if somebody gives you a referral and they're going to be like, oh, I got a great referral, they're in Pickering, don't take it. It's just another job, but it's 2 hours in the morning in traffic. Like, don't do it, right? That's just crazy talk. Try to be a regional guy. Even rebrand your company to be a regional company. Hey, I do Milton, right? Why not? Be the best contractor in Milton, stay regional, and have more time at home with your family. Just saying. It's the best advice I can give. All right, what do we got here? Josh. Oh, sorry, John. Yeah, I'm going blind. I might pull out the glasses soon. As a handyman, think of yourself as more than that. You'll become the trusted maintenance advisor of the household. Yeah, all kinds of issues. You got that right. Listen, handyman is not a bad word, okay? You got two options. You're either handy or you ain't. He's got a good point, all right? Being a handyman literally means you're a jack of all trades, and you're more valuable than a master of one, okay? So don't have a mindset where you are, oh, I'm not as good as a licensed contractor. No, that's not it at all. You just choose to do smaller projects for more profit than the licensed contractor does and take a lot less risk and responsibility. It's a great gig. You should embrace it. Love it. Alex, hey, Jeff, how to stay firm on your price when customers try to haggle? Well, what I do is I turn around and start walking for the door. Say, thanks a lot for the, call me when you change your mind. And usually they stop you before you get to the door because you're the only guy who answered the phone and showed up for a meeting. Like, this is not 1990. Today's day, if you're in a home and you present a price, you're the only guy who did it. There's no competition. So here's my price. Well, can you do any better than that? Yeah, I can. I got a meeting in 20 minutes and I'm going to go sell them the same time slot. Did you want it or am I going to book them? That's all you got right now. Don't ever give your price down because what you say is, I'm a liar and a thief. If you said 10,000 and they want you to do it for 9 and you say yes, you just said I'm a liar and a thief because my price wasn't 10, it was 9. I've never met a liar who wasn't a thief. I've never met a thief who wasn't a liar. And if you change your price, they'll have no respect for you. Next. Can you talk more about the process and education for becoming a licensed electrician or plumber? Yeah, you got two options. You can take school or you can do the journeyman apprentice routine, okay? Like, listen, if you want to be a licensed trade, you're looking at an investment in time. It's 2, 3, 4 years. Not a problem. Most of these experiences, you get paid along the way. Not like you're incurring debt, like going to school to get a bachelor's of nothing, right? This is a great gig. And you're never going to be without a job. Think about it. All of those people in university who are training their brains to think are replaced within weeks of now with artificial intelligence. Nobody needs normal intelligence. They need artificial. You ain't going to get no AI robot remodeling a house doing the plumbing work. I don't care what you say. That's not the first robot. The first robot you're going to find is the accountant, all right? It's going to be the guy that's doing drop shipping for Amazon. Those jobs are all gone. You can forget about that career. Stop answering those ads in the email. Like, you think Amazon isn't already looking at doing all of that all by themselves? Become a plumber. Get a job as an electrician, carpenter. Those jobs will always be there. Hey, cheers to Pittsburgh, Ginzer House. Hey, Jeff, what's the handyman market look like in Florida compared to Canada? Seems similar to here in Pittsburgh with boomers aging fast. Great opportunity in those areas. Let me tell you something right now. The market for handymen in Florida is ridiculous, okay? If you have nothing, if you are not chained to a stake in the ground where you live, move to Florida and become a handyman, all right? There's like 1,000 people a week moving here, and they got money. They're retired. They're baby boomers. It's the wealthiest class in the history of mankind, and they are not getting on a ladder for nobody, and they do not give a rip about what it costs to get a painter in or change the flooring. They just want it done, okay? Hell, half the people that live in Florida are only here 6 months a year. They just want things done. So just show up and get it done. My God, it's just so awesome. Scratch a lie, catch a thief. That's a great one. Stu, appreciate it, buddy. I call you Stu, S-T-F-U. I wish I knew what the hell that meant. Oh, hey, I just figured it out. I'm a little slow out of the gate sometimes, but I'll get there. All right, Wally, if you are fairly handy, not afraid of learning, and are building your own home, what trade work you should try to, I lost you. What trade work should you try to do yourself versus the ones you should contract out? Okay, first of all, there's 2 rules. 1, any trade work that's not an inspection point in your process, hire out. Okay, so electrical, plumbing, structural. Okay, insulation, that has to be inspected, but whatever. Anybody can pass an insulation inspection if you know how to use tape. So the point is, get your electrician and your plumber and your HVAC and your structural issues taken care of by pros. After that, your next level up is to learn how to do your own electrical permit as a homeowner. In most places, you can pull your own electrical permit. And can I just be honest here for the fact that the world hasn't adopted a residential electrician license yet is insane. Like, most of the wiring that you need to learn to be to do electrical and residential properties is like 5% of what they teach in electrical school. Okay, they learn residential, commercial, industrial, agriculture. Like, it's insane. We just need people to go black to black and white to white. It's not that tricky. Like, you can get that license easier than becoming a daycare operator. Can we just fix that system so that people can become electricians for residential only a hell of a lot faster? You can train them in about 6 weeks. Anyway, moving on. Maybe we should start a petition and get the government on our side on that one, hey? Holy cow. What do you say we should take some calls? What time is it? I have no idea what I'm doing. Holy crap, it's almost 6 o'clock. This show's over. That happened in a hurry. Wow, guys, thanks for coming out. Appreciate all the questions. I'm going to take one more here. Texas Web Scout. Hey, Jeff, love your videos. I'm a remodel a tire house. My designer is very anti-vinyl for the bathroom, but I've watched your videos comparing them. Is it safe to put vinyl in the bathroom? You know what? If I'm going to do a bathroom and I want to use vinyl instead of tile, and I don't know why, because tile is a great choice, I'm still going to want to put an uncoupling membrane, and I'm going to put in a heating system. So the only advantage vinyl has over tile is it'll never crack. But if you install the tile right, it'll never crack either. So why would you put in a cheap version of the real thing? Make sense? Here's this thing. There is one standard in a home: hardwood and tile. Okay? Everything else on the market is a cheaper imitation of those two. So, why would you go vinyl instead of tile? I'm not sure. It's an option. I think it's a legitimate option. It might be simpler for you to do. And if you're going to do it yourself and you're more comfortable with it, then go right ahead. Nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, it is a cheaper imitation of the other. So go with Dietra, pour floor leveler over your heating cable, because you can't put a floor in a bathroom unless you heat it. You got to keep it dry, okay? And I don't care what anybody says, vinyl is waterproof, blah, blah, blah. Any of those little gaps open up, any little gap at all, and water gets underneath there, it's going to start to stink. All right? All right. Canadian Dan, we're going to finish off with a good old-fashioned Canadian brother, eh? I have a great repeat customer, and I find myself charging less for the jobs as a thank you for the repeat business. Should I? Whew. Wow. Here's the thing. When I was in contracting, every morning I went to Tim Hortons, grabbed my coffee, and it was an extra large triple, believe that or not. That's right. That was my breakfast. Not a healthy choice, I understand. And every 6 months to a year, there'd be a price increase. Never once did I ever think about not going there for my coffee. If the cost of living is going up and the value of everything you do is going up, why, oh why, is the cost that you're charging going down? If you don't change your price, you're reducing the price because the value that they're getting and the cost of doing business is going up. The cost of everything you do should be going up. If you're in business and you do not have it every 6 months or every year, you're coming out with a new cost of doing business, you are losing major money. Not only are you losing money, but you're reducing your own value in the eyes of your customer and they're exploiting you. Don't let that happen. All right? Now let's wrap all this up. Yeah, I stopped the triples a long time ago. Now I just drink hard liquor. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, guys, if you're in the trades, if you're in the business, remember, what you do is valuable. Every time you show up and do a job, you're making somebody else's life better and you're making them more money. You're valuable. Don't buy the lie that you never went to school, you're not worth as much as the guy who got the college degree. Okay? All they are is the master in BS. You are the masters of the universe. Because what you do is going to be valuable until the day you die, and what they do is going to become irrelevant in the next 5 years. All right? Cheers. I think you're all amazing. I think the world needs 10 times as many people who are willing to work with their hands. So bless everybody, especially that one who's 63, he wants to get back on the trades. That was awesome. Great conversation tonight. If you haven't considered it, join our membership. If you got questions, I'd be happy to help you out with your business issues, okay? Please do not join the membership to complain to me about your contractors. I'm not into that. I won't do it. If you have a problem with your contractor, it's because you picked them and you signed your contract. I'm not going to get involved after the fact. But if you're a contractor having a problem with a homeowner, hit me up, because there are things that you can do and ways that you can do to protect yourself. A lot of times you're going to just take it on the chin, but you'll never have to make that mistake again. And I can help you have that conversation to make sure that you're protected and your mind's in the right place moving forward in business in the future, so you only sign good business. Remember, every time you go to work, you're making money. And if you're not, you got the wrong client. Cheers till next time.